we continued to date, continued to have fun. And next thing I know, and I will go ahead and say that at the time that me and my husband were dating, we didn't live in the same city. So we lived probably like an hour and a half away from each other. So we didn't live in the same city. So when we did see each other, it was like on the weekends, stuff like that. Because I had class during the week, he had to go to work during the week. So when we were seeing each other, it was on the weekends. And so I remember that we've been dating for like 8 months now. And next thing I know, me and my now husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, we were in Atlanta, and I think it was Labor Day weekend, because he was off, and off from work, and I was off from school. And I remember we're just having a grand old time in Atlanta, partying, and we just chilling out, just enjoying each other's company. And then all of a sudden he looks at me and he says, my job paid me like an extra amount of money. Like, this is not usually what I get paid. So he had a larger paycheck than usual. So, we both thought that that was odd, but we really didn't really think much of it. And then later he gets an email from his job saying that basically like his job would be closing. Like, they were pretty much going out of business and they would be closing. And so my husband works in the tech field, and so he was working at a college at the time, and the college basically was just saying, hey, we shutting down, we shutting our doors. And so he just looked at me, he said, okay, I don't have a job anymore. And so again, we are in Atlanta having a good time, just vibing, and he just basically got his last paycheck, and he had just received an email that his job was no more. So, we're both just looking like, oh boy, what are we gonna do? And so he just, we did what anybody else would do. We just had to start looking for jobs. And so he started applying for jobs, and he was applying here, he was applying there, he was applying everywhere. And at the time, I was still in school, and he would just tell me, well, I applied this place. And then I would look and I would say, oh, I see so and so is hiring, do you want to apply there? And so after about a month of him applying for jobs, I could just tell that he was just getting a little bit down. And I just gave him encouraging words like, don't worry, you're gonna get a job, it's gonna all be okay, it's gonna all work out. And then he says, well, I just feel like if me and you are gonna be together, I just feel like I should just move there with you, and I should just find a job and we could just be close. What's the point of me trying to find a job here, start over here, when I know I want to be with you, and I could just get a job there. And so then I'm just like, like, okay, so, all right, like, he's about to move here so he can be with me. And that's just what he did. And what's so funny is when he moved, like, it was immediate. Like, he moved immediately. It was just like he turned in, went to his, he was living in an apartment. He went to his leasing office, basically gave them a notification that he would be moving, and he paid whatever he had to pay, and then he moved to be with me. And he got a job where I lived immediately. So all that to say, like, you have to be obedient to God. When God tells you to do something, you know, you just do it, because you never know what other blessings that he has planted inside of that blessing. And so me and my husband, he ended up getting a job, and then the next month, in the month of October, that's when he proposed. So we were on the beach. We had went out to this jazz club. We went out to eat and have drinks and dance, and then after that we went to the beach, and he proposed to me on the beach. And at that point we were dating, had been dating for 9 months. And so we got engaged. It was a very exciting time. And then let's see, 9 months after we got engaged, we got married. And so I say all of that to say that it was like a domino effect. I quit my job and I went back to school, and during my time in school, I met my husband, who I married, and, you know, we're still together. We, of course, went on to have kids and everything else. But what if I had not been obedient to the voice of God? What if I didn't quit my job and I just decided to stay where I was, keep my life the same? I don't think I would have met my husband. But when you are obedient to the voice of God, when you listen to him and you do what he tells you to do, you have so many blessings that are in store for you. So that concludes part 29, Obedience to God.